Hey bud, good thing you're here. Let's get to work. First thing up on To-Do Tower is coal plant 1. The second item is to finish computer lab lines and the building. We want to continue that out, and to do that we're gonna need crystal oscillators, and crystal oscillators start with quartz crystals. All right, back here at coal plant 1, we're underneath. We're going to use this line and bring it forward. We will go ahead and pull that up. Then we will build our new truck loading station. Also need to put a Mark III miner on this, and we also need to find the sulfur, which is actually not too far from here. All right, we've made it over to our sulfur now. It is just a normal spot, so the max we'll be able to pull from it with the Mark III is 600, but that's okay because the coal spot we are using is also a normal one and can max out at 600. We'll start snaking the line through here. I think we'll just go right across and just go straight up the mid. Okay, we got our sulfur line here. It's not the most elegant solution, but it gets the job done, and there really wasn't a nicer way of getting the materials over here. All right, got our walls down now, and it is giving us the general outline of what the place can look like. I've decided that I'm going to repurpose my assemblers from the aluminum factory, and we are going to split it up into two distinct sections. Black powder, and that takes coal and sulfur. Compacted coal also takes coal and sulfur. I don't like how that looks. I've got to fix that. Anyway, I'll show you what that looks like once all the machines are humming. All right, we got our machinery going, got lots of the gunpowder and the compacted coal ready to go. I've gone ahead and settled how I want to handle all my sulfur. So we're bringing in 600 a minute. We are going to spend 400 of that on compacted coal, and then we are taking that compacted coal and using 60 of that a minute to combine with an extra 60 or an extra 30 of sulfur, and then we are going to use the remainder of the sulfur, which is 180, to make sulfuric acid. All right, we are pretty much set with our inner workings for coal plant 1. We have 13 constructors running on the quartz crystals. Then we also have a heaping amount of compacted coal, followed by gunpowder, and then we have storage built in for all of it. Okay, here at To-Do Tower, our first item, the coal plant 1 expansion, we can go ahead and mark as completed. What that does is gives us a new opportunity to start something else on the list, which is the fix aluminum. The aluminum throughput died off quite heavily once I went through all my reserves. So as you can see, now we have a field full of yellow. I want to be able to fix some of this in order to be able to start making batteries. A battery takes sulfuric acid plus alumina solution plus the aluminum casings. Our goal for number 5 fix aluminum station is this. We're going to wipe out all of this aluminum storage here. We are then going to look at tapping into the other bauxite. We're going to make sure that our current ones are fully overclocked and everything is updated with Mark V conveyor belts. And then we are going to build out a much better solution for Okay, we have moved on a little bit here, and we've got all of our miners now set up with Mark III. We've got new belts in them. The real work is down here. We need to redo the refinery setup. We didn't even use a blueprint when we set this up. I'm not sure what I was thinking. Since we're not far from the ocean, I might set up a fluid truck that is gonna move water, or maybe a couple fluid trucks that are gonna move water rather than relying on the pipes, especially now that we've got this new road that I built last video. Mathing out the water for the aluminum made me decide to take a little side quest here, and I think I'm just going to make a mass water farm and start putting some of those fluid trucks to use. We're gonna make great use of these fluid containers, so we're gonna run 5 of them. Each one will feed into 2 different refineries. The other thing we have to be cognizant of, I will have the water runoff from the aluminum scrap that gets made. You know, as I was building out the road, I was like, dude, this could look better. So what I ended up doing was went back to the blueprint, pulled out my old straight road, and cyberpunked it out. I removed the actual painting for the lines and put in 2-meter labels, and then I just put in purple 4-meter labels all the way down, and I think it looks pretty cool. I am going to be systematically replacing the road with the new look. Even though it's the same thing, it actually looks quite different. Okay, I feel like our water farm is pretty set to go. We've got 8 stations. We've got the fluid tanker stations up top. Down below, we have our piping that goes upwards, and then we have our water extractors that are pulling out 300 cubic meters of water a minute, all feeding up into here. Happy with how this is looking. Let's move forward and finish up the unloading section for this. We are now sending all of our water trucks out. We'll have 8 refineries that are going to be dedicated to the aluminum, and then I am going to have 2 of them that are dedicated to other things, one of them being batteries, since we need that solution for it. Amazing what a little bit of overclocking and consolidation will do for saving space. I have got everything up to aluminum scrap just in this tiny little spot here. Well, I guess it isn't that tiny, but comparatively so. Now that we have our scraps back up, I am going to just start ripping all of this out. All right, we got that all wiped out. We just left in the storage for the aluminum for now. We're creating 585 aluminum scrap per refinery, and we have 4 refineries running, so that gives us 2,340. That will put us over here at the next piece, which is the aluminum scrap into aluminum ingots, and that is 225 per minute, and divided by 225, that gets us 10.4. So we would need 10 of these foundries. So I will get that built up now. So we have the refineries that's getting our bauxite and water. water being provided from the fluid trucks that are coming in. You'll also see we added a 6th station over here. This is where we are dropping off the sulfur, and we're mixing that sulfur with water for sulfuric acid, and that sulfuric acid is being used to make batteries. So from what I can tell, batteries are really efficient for vehicles, so we'll see how they work out for us. The way I have everything set up right now though is 3 out of the 4 stations that are making aluminum ingots are going to feed up into the upper layer. That's where we'll be making the all-clad sheeting. We might make some additional casings up there too, but we do have casings being made down here, and those are being used in the battery production. That sulfur that's being dropped off, I just have it running a line underneath, and I think I'm going to get the batteries out to other stations the same way we did with fuel. Other than that, we're packaging up water, which is the runoff from creating the batteries, and we're packaging that with containers that are being made from one set of the steel ingots that's up over here. It was just a lot easier than having to try and drive them in from being created by plastic or anything else. So worked out pretty well. I am starting to find water just so annoying to deal with. A, we have enough of it in the right spot, and B, getting rid of it as a runoff has been a challenge. So I discovered my math was a little silly once I started working with the packagers a bit more closely. I am over here thinking, okay, do I make another set of constructors into empty canisters because we weren't keeping up? That's when I realized that half of the machines over here were sitting yellow, but these were working fine. So these ones are the steel pipes, and these I did the math correctly on. I guess I didn't stop to truly math out the difference between the steel beams and the steel pipes, because the steel beams take double what the pipes do. So I'm going back and I'm correcting this math issue. Looks like I've got to reconfigure all of these too, but I will get those hooked back up. But I just wanted to show, yeah, sometimes you gotta go back and correct your math. With our sheets back up and fixed, we can go ahead and mark number 5 off the list and give that a green check mark. And since we have some time left on this video still, I think we'll go ahead and start number 3, which is decorate steel plant. Been working on this a little bit and will continue to do so, but I wanted to go ahead and at least get it rolling. So in here we have the encased steel beams being made, and you can see I've just been trying out different build options for my cyberpunk look. And here we've got our steel pipes being made, and on the other side we've got our beams. All right, since we've got our steel plant pretty much decorated at this point, I am gonna go ahead and mark it off on the to-do tower, giving us 3 green check marks this episode. So pretty happy with that. We'll need to come up with some new goals. We'll bump some of these up, and we will keep making our way towards completing the next phase. Have a great week, and I will see you at the next one. Goodbye.